20th presidential election has finally wrapped up, or the voting process has wrapped up, and marking a voter turnout of 77.1%. That's 1 percentage point lower than the last presidential election turnout. It was the first presidential election during the pandemic and was one where people with COVID-19 were allowed to vote in the same polling stations and on the same day as other voters. One of our reporters was out at a polling station to witness the whole process. Yeon-seung brings us this story.
The 20th presidential election has drawn to a close. That means that there's no more campaigning and no more ballots to cast. Now it's just a waiting game for the people of South Korea and the presidential hopefuls. 14,464 polling stations opened for the final day of voting from 6 a.m. to 7:30 p.m.
And one of them is here, the third polling station in Pyeongchang-dong in Seoul's Jongno-gu district. This district is right at the center of South Korean politics and has been a key battleground for many politicians. And Wednesday has been a monumental day in Jongno-gu political history as the district held two elections, the presidential election and a local by-election.
I feel like the by-election has a more direct impact on me rather than the presidential election. I also feel close to the by-election candidate because it's someone who I've been following for a long time.
My heart feels full, and I think this is a historical moment. I hope my vote can help the country, and if the candidate I support becomes elected, I really hope that person doesn't lose his way.
I really hope the 20th president unites both parties and doesn't tear people apart. During the last 5 years, polarization has become serious. There has been a lot of anxiety over economy and security. People's hope showed through early voting, and I expect more people to vote today.
They weren't the only ones enthusiastic about this presidential race. For this presidential election, voter turnout marked 77.1%, a strong figure and one similar to the turnout seen during the last presidential election. Voting ended at 6 p.m. for regular voters. The last hour and a half was reserved for the estimated 880,000 voters who were infected with COVID-19 or who are self-isolating.
By 6 o'clock, the supervisors here had all changed into protective gear, and they made sure to separate regular voters, those with COVID-19, and those who are self-isolating.
This is the third time South Korea has carried out an election during a pandemic, but the first time that COVID-19 patients were able to vote on the same day and at the same place as the other voters. Yeon-seung, Arirang News.